Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to the call. Tonight we're interviewing Jason Gough from down at Sisel. He is the official marketing director. So we've got Katie Larking from Australia. We've got Jason Gough from down in Utah. And welcome to the call, everyone. Katie, I'll hand it over to you. Or Jason, let me start and just say, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us kind of your background, where you're from. How'd you get into this industry with all these crazy people like Katie and I?
Okay, well, let me tell you, and I'll do it visually. So I'm going to screen share with you for a sec. I've got a few slides that'll help me kind of tell my story. So, so this is me, right? I'm a musician. I've kind of been doing bands for about 20 years with my wife and some friends, and we've had a chance to tour, and I've done some stuff. Our stuff is on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify, and Pandora. Our band is called Coastal. I'm originally from Canada and have lived in the U.S. For since '93. So I've kind of lost a little bit of my accent, but not my attitude. It's just a fun picture of me and Hulk Hogan. He's kind of fallen from grace a little bit, but he was. I was a big fan of wrestling when I was a little kid. And this picture of me on the back of a Hells Angels bike that was taken in London, and this nice gentleman. We were actually doing a show there, and this nice gentleman was willing to take me for a ride through the streets, and it was an experience I'll never forget. So also a big Utah Jazz fan. I like the NBA, college football, that sort of thing. And this picture with the elephant, that was in Bali, and that's me and my wife. And I love to travel. I love to, get out there and see other countries. Although I have not yet had the opportunity to visit Australia, Katie. So whatever you could do to put a bug in the air over here, I'd certainly love to go check it out. So this is my family, and my oldest daughter is 16, and my youngest daughter is 8, and so I kind of we're trying to impart a sense of healthy lifestyle to our kids. So we try to eat right. We exercise. I've got a bunch of soccer players and dancers and other musicians, and we like to get out and camp and hike and run. And my wife and I did. I've done some Ironmans. My wife's done a half Ironman with me as well. So we're very active as a family, and that's kind of the legacy I want to leave for my kids, is one of living life to the fullest. And I believe that that's the way we do that is by eating right, exercising, and supplementing, right? Because the Western diet certainly does not provide us with all the things that we need to function at an optimal level. So this picture here, and this notion was kind of passed on to me by my parents. So my father used to be, he did soil testing, and you didn't have to tell him, 40, 50 years ago that the soil was depleted. So they kind of raised us on supplements, and that's because they were distributors in several different network marketing companies. So I was actually kind of raised in the industry, raised on supplements. And, I had the Melaleuca shampoo and toothpaste, and had Avon stuff and Forever Living product, aloe vera, and Shaklee vitamins. And so I just kind of grew up in the industry. It's not necessarily that I thought about, when I go to school, I want to be an MLM guy, but it's just how it happened. But, I guess what I like, kind of going back to this picture, is one of the things that attracted me to Sisel was the Maurer mission, right? And it's this idea of things being safe, things being natural, pure. My dad, while he did soil testing, he also sold chemical fertilizers. Southern Alberta is a big, we do a lot of wheat production. And in this case, he worked on sugar beets. But, he didn't have proper protection when he was working in this dusty environment and with these chemicals. And so, he developed neuropathy, and it was really sad because, he had worked really hard to have a successful retirement and be able to enjoy himself. And he developed neuropathy, and that really slowed him down, and ultimately it's what killed him. And so it really made me mad because I saw what these things did to him, and it, really robbed him of the kind of best years of his life. And so when I kind of was introduced to the Maurer mission, I thought, I agree with that 100%. That's something I can get behind. So I do take a lot of supplements. Forgive me, this is a picture I had taken before really getting into too much Sisel products, but I assure you my basket is full to the brim of Sisel products. But I take a lot of supplements. I'm a pretty active individual, and I like to kind of push myself, and I take just a lot of supplements. I probably take somewhere between 10 to 12 supplements a day, and I'll mix that up and around. So that helps fuel kind of what I enjoy doing. And that's, like I said, being active. I set a goal to do an Ironman, around 40, 41, right? A little bit of a midlife crisis. So I worked really hard, and a lot of supplements kind of got me through. I think it's really important to live the brand, right? I mean, you have to kind of believe in the products that you're actually selling. And I'm sure as distributors, you can certainly appreciate why that's important. So along those lines, this is a video shoot I did a while back with a couple hundred people, and it was a lot of fun. But the megaphone for me kind of represents being a brand advocate and being willing to or excited about telling the story. And as a marketing director, that's kind of how I see my role. Is you have to live the brand, just like you as distributors. You've got to live the brand. It's got to be about everything that you do, what you're passionate about, what you're excited. And so I kind of feel the same way. And so here are some pictures of me kind of out in the field, because I do enjoy getting out in the field. And I don't like sort of being tied down at corporate and not really understanding what moves the needle out in the field and understanding the challenges. And I was very fortunate in previous companies to travel around the world and see how, all these initiatives from corporate translated and maybe didn't translate in different parts of the world. This picture here, that just kind of, to me, is a little symbolic of wanting to get in and interact with distributors. And so before Sisel, I was actually working in retail for a little while, about a year and a half. And, it wasn't quite the same thing. I actually missed interacting with distributors. I like having fun. And to me, we can't sort of get up on stage and just be these, stuffed shirts. And we've got to be able to have fun in the same way that you guys have fun, right? I mean, most distributors don't work. They haven't transitioned to full-time in the business. And so they're working probably a full-time job or a part-time job. And so the last thing they want to do when they get home is do more work. And so if we can make it fun for you guys, and you can make it fun for your teams, then it's really not work, right? So that's kind of what I believe. And so in so many words, that's a little bit about me.
So Jason, so how long have you been with Sisel now?
So it's just probably just over a month, really. Still cutting my teeth.
And what's your favorite product?
Well, I have a few. I take the H pill for sure. I kind of came from, so I was with Miranda Tishinoni for about 11 years. Previous to coming into the industry, I worked in journalism for a little bit. And so I'm familiar with juice products. I'm into that sort of thing. So I was excited to see that we had juice products as well. And then I was at 4Life as the VP of marketing for about 8 years. So then I had a retail stint for a year and a half, and then I came to Sisel. So, but yeah, back to your original question about products. So I do like the Triangle of Life. I was really excited about the Vision product. I had LASIK done about 10 years ago, and they say after 40, it kind of, your vision really starts to decline. And I'm still at 20/20 because taking lutein products. And so I was excited about that. I love the, Inner Chi. I take that as well as Body Shield. Sizzling and Ripped, of course, from Workout Recovery. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of fixing to try them all. I actually tried exfolium the other day, but I still have this lovely shine I can't get rid of. But that's for the top part of the head, not so much the face.
Great. And can you tell for the distributors that are watching this interview, can you share a little bit about what you're working on at the moment in Sisel headquarters in the marketing department?
Sure. Yeah. So, like I said, I haven't been here too long. I'm kind of still getting a little bit the lay of the land, but there's so much opportunity here. There's such a great foundation here at Sizzle, and I'm just amazed at Tom's brain and how he can kind of come up with these products and the way he speaks about them. It's really I don't know if entrancing is the right word, but it's you have to admire just how it works. So I love that we're kicking out these great product development ideas and coming up with new products and that sort of thing. But so of course we're always kind of trying to stay ahead of him, which is very difficult to do in terms of how we're going to support some of these great new products that he's kind of coming up with. So that's always going to be a top priority to make sure we launch these products correctly and that you guys actually have the tools that you need to be able to sell these products, right? Or to share these products, as I like to say. We don't like to talk about selling. So I'm actually really big into tools. It's kind of been, I've overseen, $1 million tools product lines. I've always kind of had the starter kit under me in my career. And so I believe in tools, and based on my last experience coming to a company that maybe didn't necessarily have a lot of tools in a 6-month time period, I kind of tripled the tools offering just because I felt like, whether it's a prospecting tool or a training tool or onboarding video or getting into the compensation plan. I mean, these things it's just proven that you need these things to help you be brand consistent, but also to be able to tell the story. And then you supplement that with your own product experience and your own opportunity experience. But
I've always been taught that when you're talking about your company, you should always be pointing at a tool. You should have a tool in your hand, and you should be talking about that and let the tool do the heavy work.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And so I've kind of looked at what we have right now, and there's a lot of things that I want to add. I'm trying to, walk before I run a little bit here. So we're trying to be methodical about it, but I definitely do want to get some form of starter kit going here, whether that's a physical or an online piece. But so we've kind of started to work on that a little bit and some of those elements that would make that up. Mm-hmm. And so that's a top priority. I kind of have, even right now, I'm kind of looking at a piece of paper that I've put around the office, and in my own office, it says starter kit, website, and recognition. So as you well know, there are 3 things that you can really focus on at one time. And so I'm trying to be disciplined and focus on those particular things, because I think that'll really help us kind of move the needle. So
one of the questions that I had as I was thinking about this call that we're doing, what can we as distributors, what can we do to kind of help you build some of these things?
Well, yeah. And I think it's really important, like I had said previously, to not, for us not to market in an ivory tower, but to, let me go ahead and stop sharing this because there we go. There we go. Sorry. Technology. But yeah, I'm a big fan of getting feedback from the field a lot of times before we get too far down the road on something. And so I guess for me, it would be just that, being able to kind of maybe pitch some ideas. I'm sure, of course, every distributor has their own take on how things work. And so for me, it's important to kind of gather that feedback from maybe the different parts of the world. You know what I mean? So of course, we customize our tools and we localize them as appropriate. But I've always found that when leaders buy off on the tools that we produce, or they feel like they've had a little bit of involvement, then the tool becomes that much more successful. So my whole strategy would be, to work with you guys and put things out, and then let you guys sell the tools, which will then help you sell Sisel.
Fantastic. And so, Jason, with the various social media platforms, what's your favorite one for putting out content?
Well, I'm a big Facebook guy, as you
Yeah.
kind of well know, and I love the platform. When that whole thing came about, I had been a journalist, and I never sort of knew if people liked what I was writing or the articles I put out. I might get an angry letter to the editor. That way, I knew I kind of hit a chord. But I love the immediate feedback of social media, and Facebook in particular. And I think it's important, at least for me, to there's so many different platforms that you can spend time on, but for me, it's like I kind of just pick one and try not to get too distracted. So I really like Facebook. I'm glad to see that we've made an investment in our own Facebook platform. I'm looking to grow that as well, and have had a lot of experience with social media. I've sort of managed social media teams, and that's kind of just been something that I've been involved with since the inception. So.
And so will you be like overseeing the content that gets published out onto the like Facebook and I know that Sisel also have Pinterest. Is it Pinterest? They're still using that?
I don't know that we're using it so much, to be honest. I know that we're in the Twitter space a little bit. Instagram is definitely more popular with a bit of a younger demographic. So, old guys like me are probably more found on Facebook. So yes, to answer your question, that's under my stewardship. So
I actually heard some really interesting information about Facebook. So, you've got the age group of 20 up to 100-year-old people and plus, I guess, on Facebook. And the most popular age group is the 50 to 80-year-olds on Facebook consuming the most amount of content.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my previous company was a sports nutrition company, and we definitely were trying to appeal to a younger demographics, bodybuilders and, fitness models, that sort of thing. And so we were heavily focused on Instagram, not really much on Facebook.
Yeah. Great. And so Kurt, do you have some more questions?
I'm just kind of grabbing everything that he's saying. It sounds like you're right on track. You're bringing us some new tools, kind of working on revamping the old ones, and I love it. I love it. That's what we need. Some new fresh ideas brought into the department.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah. And you talked about the website, right? I think you've asked about that specifically for Australia and for the rest of the world. So that's another area that's kind of always been kind of under my responsibility with different companies. And so I've seen a lot of things that work in terms of the way we position, the way we structure the site, both the front side of the site as well as the back office. And so we're really in the throes right now. We had a couple meetings this week on it, and working with, some of our resources to really kind of pull back and look at the site, not obviously completely change it, but we will be making some changes. I know that there's some, how do I put this? Some sort of, system issues that causes our site to run a little bit slowly, and, it can be a little bit of a challenge there. So we're focused on, making sure that what we have functions better, but a parallel path of what do we want to do to change things up a little bit. So.
And I guess with the website too, a lot of the work goes into the contents. And so, getting all the content and the images, descriptions and all of that for the site, lots of work to go into there. And I'm sure we'll see that improving as time goes on.
Yeah, hopefully quickly. That's kind of part of the three initiatives that I have, and I've got the team focused on.
Yeah, great. All right. Kurt, did you want to ask anything else of Jason today?
I think we're right on track. Like I said, we're branding ourselves as the anti-aging company. We've really got the products and with a compensation plan that's powerful like we got. I think we have everything set to be a $1 billion company.
Yeah, great. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, and we appreciate your time and getting on the webinar. And we'll speak to you really soon.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.